And a good evening to everyone. Thank you all for joining us on this evening itself on YouTube and Facebook itself. Thank you for taking the time out, right, to actually have the opportunity to come and gather right together with a good friend of mine, Victor. We'll be shortly introducing them. Victor has a project, for that's named Metapoly itself. So we'll be finding out a little bit more in terms of what the project is about. And as with all introductions itself, everyone is encouraged to do their own due diligence. Okay, you need to do your own research. This is not an endorsement. This is not. This is just an awareness to bring people, and connect them to the projects, to let them find out more in terms of what the projects are doing itself. All right, in the space itself. So without further ado, let me just warmly welcome, a good friend of mine, Victor. Hi, Victor.
Hey, hello. Hey, everyone.
And together with Metapoly itself, we have Cindy as well, one of the core members as well. Cool.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Awesome. So maybe you guys can do a little bit of an introduction in terms of who you guys are, what you guys are doing, and what inspired you to do Metapoly, as a project, basically. Yeah.
Maybe I'll let Cindy take the lead first.
Okay, cool.
Okay, sure. So we are core team for Metapoly. We actually have another 2 core team members, but today we are going to represent the project. So all the core team members are actually based in Singapore.
Okay.
So Victor here is obviously the founder and the starter of this idea. Then myself is in charge of marketing and PR. Then we also have Jenkyu, who is taking care of business development as well as investor relation. Yeah. Then we also have Chanel. So she also has her own NFT project. So she's in charge of community. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome, man. I did not know that Chanel was one of your core team members.
You know her, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. This is awesome. A small world. I mean, Singapore, we've been quite active in our projects in the last few months itself. I can see that there were multiple projects coming in and things like that. Victor, over to you.
Yeah. So I've been involved in the early days of DeFi Singapore, right? When last year just started. I think there was like
almost 2 years ago, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Yeah.
So I was active in the beginning. Then after I left out, was doing my own startup. Then right now, doing Metapoly, and then actually want to bring Metapoly to the life, to the world. And stay tuned. So I would like to, of course, down the road, I want to explain more about what Metapoly does. But essentially something about myself. I've been in crypto since 2016. Deep dive in the rabbit hole since 2018. Been through the whole bear market. It was like nothing like now. Right now, it's kind of like very exciting.
We are considered Lao Kok already, actually, bro. One of the old uncles.
Last time, 3 years ago, right? 4 years ago, it was really dead, right? Kind of like almost dead. People think that the bear market is going to be there forever, right?
Yeah.
But look at now. We have NFTs, we have Metaverse, everything, and still people are talking about bear market. So it's different. But so being in the space for long and understand everything.
Yep. Okay. So maybe let's dive deep. Let's just ask you guys to introduce Metapoly itself. Do you need the slides for this?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Yeah.
Right. So it's easier to use the slide and then easier to explain, right?
Yeah.
So Metapoly is actually the combination of a few very strong important components and very strong idea, right? That we believe that has a chance to succeed. So essentially, what is Metapoly? Very simple. We are not here to sell another land. No, we are not. But we are providing the foundation, platform, and infrastructure for the Metaverse and the NFT world. So essentially, Metapoly is trying to launch a new decentralized Metaverse land bank with its own asset-backed stablecoin, right? So it's called USM. A bit cheeky, it's called United States of Metaverse. USM. Right? Imagine
Okay.
us as actually the BlackRock for Metaverse, or in Singapore, right, the Temasek for Metaverse, right? They invest into all these different kind of assets, a different kind of land, and then we will actually issue the stablecoin USM that is actually backed by those lands, right? But it's decentralized and DAO owned.
Okay.
So, yep. So what high level? So it's a Metaverse and Monopoly Bank. So when you play Monopoly, generally we are playing and buying different properties, right? Essentially, we are a
Okay.
bank, so you own all the lands. So we let people buy the land, and we actually have the currency backed by the land itself, right? So it's actually a DeFi 2.0 stablecoin and GameFi on a multi-chain metaverse platform. We are
Okay.
not a chain per se. We are actually we are infrastructure layer on top of the chain that goes across any other chain, right? Why is this very important? Let me explain over here. So if you think from the market point of view, Metaverse just started, right? Like last year, end of last year, just started to have some boom, and you can see, right? Sandbox, Decentraland, and plenty more any other Metaverse project are launching. There, I know even in Singapore, there's a few, right? And I think this trend is going to go and continue. Why? Because there's so much money in the world investing into Metaverse because this is the next frontier, right? I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar worth of opportunity for the next 5 to 10 years, right? So, but it is very obvious, right? The more metaverse grow across different multiple blockchain network, whether it's private, whether it's public, whether it's going to be Ethereum, on Polygon, on Solana, on Avalanche, on Phantom, or BSC, right? It doesn't matter which chain. The fragmentation is going to be there. So the more metaverse ecosystem grow, is actually fragmentation. Can you imagine having a user, right, that actually they have to log out every time when they go to a new chain, then they have to like switch their wallet and then move buy in some crypto on their Web3 and then they play into a different chain or like, be part of a different chain. It is ridiculously stupid. You need something that actually unifying, right, so that people could actually use that token or the stable coin, right, to transact across the metaverse, right? And we aspire to be that. So liquidity issue, we ask ourselves this question, right? We know that there's a lot of people who are actually having the liquidity issue across, the metaverse itself. A lot of people bought piece of land, yeah, they got 100x, right? But yeah, unless they sell at full price, generally they can't sell, right? So there's a lot of liquidity being locked there, and they can't do
Yep.
anything except
Yep.
people gain, right? So unable to capitalize. And of course, if this were to continue, the trend were to continue, we know for sure, right, that common citizens or people in the future, right, it's going to be very hard to actually buy any piece of land. Why? It's going to get more expensive, right? It's the same thing, right? You can, I mean, how many people can actually afford to buy punks and apes, right? So it's very unaffordable for a lot of people. So how do we solve that? So Metapoly is actually creating a new decentralized metaverse currency, and it's actually unifying all the metaverse protocol, right, with stablecoin USM, and the D token is the governance token, right? So we are using a very proven model right now that works, right. I'm sure everyone heard of Terra's network,
Yes.
Luna UST model, right? Essentially, it's the same thing. For people to use the USM token for it to be distributed, people need to burn their DIT, and DIT is actually the currency that minted, right, when people bond and sell the liquidity and asset to the treasury. So every token that is actually on the Metapoly platform is actually asset backed, right? So I just want to answer. I saw the comment from like Golden Ape Eve, right? It's not even a bridge. We are actually the infrastructure itself, right? So the bridge is actually, combining everything together, but we are providing the liquidity across multi-chain, right? That is
Okay.
actually even more powerful. So yeah,
Awesome.
going to the second point, right, about liquidity and community. So because we own the liquidity, right, we are the one that actually provides that USM stablecoin and the D token, and it's going to go multi-chain. So essentially, we have so much liquidity in through our network that people could actually essentially capitalize on the land, sell the land to us, and go to our community, do a lot of stuff, just because we have the liquidity. And of course, looking forward, I mean, continuing, then we know that because we have a lot of lands, what we can do, we can create fractionalization for these assets, right, to be sold to more token holders with USM and DIT. So we are creating use case for the DIT token and USM so that people could actually own more fractionalized asset of this blue chip metaverse land, such as Sandbox and Decentralized.
Okay.
So our proposition is very simple. We're actually democratizing and fractionalizing metaverse land to provide micro ownership for a lot of common people in the future, right? I mean, it's very hard for us to buy a piece of land next to Snoop Dogg in the middle of like Sandbox, right? But
Yep.
through us, Yes, you can. And of course, because we own the land, so new decentralized metaverse currency, the deep governance token and asset-backed stablecoin, right? USM.
Mm.
What are the benefits, right, for a lot of people? Simple stuff. The normal people would be able to afford finally a piece of like ownership, right, of the piece of land in the middle of like Sandbox, right, and Decentraland. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, right now I own a premium land, right? It's just like imagine in Singapore, you're able to own a piece of land actually on the Raffles, right? Some kind of
Mm.
ownership on Raffles Place, on like normal people will not be able to afford that, but Metapoly, yes, we can. And of course, for the rich landowners or the funds, people who have bought, some of them want to sell, right? Want to capitalize on it. We are creating liquidity for them. So Metapoly create a market for that asset through the micro ownership.
Mm.
But the intangible reason is why we will succeed. I keep on emphasizing this. Why? You can go to any platform where they'll tell you that their APY is high, and their yield farming is high, and everyone is just competing on that token price and APY, right? But we
Mm-hmm.
are providing something that a lot of people does not see that. A lot of people will see the value. Um, what is this important, right? Imagine the real world today. People in Hong Kong, right? How many people from Hong Kong actually can buy a piece of like condo in the middle of like central? Same as New York, same as Singapore. I mean, Singapore is still good, right? Because the government is nice, right? But if you think from the metaverse perspective, it's just a matter of time. All these rich whales and funds from like the JP Morgan and like Facebook and like different whales, right? They're going to hold all the lands and they're going to squeeze the rent out of everyone, right? The same thing is happening in the world today. Why do you think the metaverse will be any different?
Mm-hmm.
But how do we democratize that? Metapoly is providing liquidity and fractionalization for that.
Okay.
And what we are trying to do is to provide that something that is intangible, which is the positive emotion. Imagine
Mm.
for a normal person, right? They say that like a millennial or like Gen Z, right? I mean, I can't even like buy any land right now, right? Because I can afford it. But if I'm able to own part of it, I'm very proud, right? Because I'm able to own something next to like Snoop Dogg. Right? I own something very precious, right? And belonging in a community, I'm part of this movement, right? Occupy Metaverse, that we want to democratize Metaverse lands, right, for the masses, right? Because that is actually essentially our motto. So that is
Mm.
actually the intangible reason and the positive emotion, right, that we are creating for people who are holding the token, right?
Mm. Okay. Cool.
So,
And yeah. So okay. Let's move on first before we go to the questions. Come. Let's continue. Yeah.
yep. So essentially, if you think about it, right, this slide is going to need to be updated again. But essentially, the DID token is actually the governance and the token that is being minted when people bond the land with us. So and then USM, right, is actually the stable coin. And to get the USM stable coin, you have to burn the DID token. So as you
Ah.
know, right, the more token you burn, less circulation supply, get more stable coin. And when you stake, you are not getting the D token, you are getting the stable coin.
Mm.
Think about it. Every other project, right? Like, hey, I'm going to stake the ABC token, I'll get more ABC token in the future. And what happened to the ABC token? Everyone sells. Right now is that you stake the D token, which is the governance, the VED, and a couple of model that we are doing. Then you
Mm-hmm.
get more stable coin. The longer
Mm.
you stake, the higher APY, then you get more stable coin. So essentially, right, you actually have the governance token that if you stake it, you actually print money. Literally, you're
Mm.
getting money, right? The stable coin for you
Mm.
to use.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
How is the stable coin be used? If you look at the five component up there, we have launch pads. We're going to partner with some people to do launch pad so that stakers could able to participate in the guaranteed whitelist allocation. And then we have GameFi NFTs. We're going to create some arena, and then people can use the D token to actually mint more NFTs. The NFTs will come with different kind of rarity and different kind of value. What I mean by
Mm.
that, different kind of rarity, different kind of classes, right, will give you different kind of power. It's like game, right?
Mm.
GameFi. And then
Mm.
different kind of power will give you different kind of level, right? And when you're at a higher level, you get more tax, you get less taxes, you get more governance power, you get stuck in the tax. You got to have a different kind of APY. So we will make it more interesting, right? It's just like Monopoly, you have like different components to the game, right? So GameFi.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And then we have borrowing and lending. So again, when you put in your D token and the other projects, right, will to bring their liquidity over, we'll create a market for them on the borrowing lending, and they can
Mm.
borrow the stablecoin, USM. So you're actually creating money from your assets. So when you put in your land or you put in your token, you're able to borrow and lend stablecoin. So borrowing and lending. And
Mm.
fractional ownership,
Okay.
as I mentioned, if we're going to have lands, we buy from the treasury and from the market. People could actually take some of the land and actually own it, right, through the USM and D token, with the use case for the token. And of course, the Metaverse land NFT marketplace, similar to what people are doing on like different NFT platform, right? So we are doing the same thing, but specifically focus on land, right? So what happened to the land is that people could actually put in the land and sell, and then when the trading profit comes, will be distributed to the guys who are staking. So now not only you are actually staking to get the APY from the stable coin, you're also getting trading profit from the trading fees.
Yep.
So all these are plethora of reasons, right, why we will actually succeed.
Okay.
Right. Simple to say, how do we sustain ourselves as a network? Very simple. I mean, we cannot be losing money forever, right? Then nobody will come participate in this network. So because we are ecosystem and a platform, every transaction that happens with the D token, there's 1 to 2% tax being tax, and it will be added to the treasury. And the treasury will take money to actually mint more stable coin so that more people will get more money. Essentially, when you stake it, you get more money. Right? That's what it is, right? Transaction taxes for that. And then profit share, when people start to sell the land as well, then what will happen is that, there's going to be every successful fractionalization of the land, we take 10%, right, from the commission, from the land being sold. And of course, because we own the liquidity and treasury and the land, we can actually generate revenue, we can actually borrow on land, we can make money from the trading, we can accumulate more land, right, to actually do more stuff in the future with the land. So, yeah, so as I mentioned, all these are the token use cases that I mentioned just now. I'll go in later deeper when more questions come. So what is the roadmap? Simple to say, we are right now at March. Actually, the token and the product is already in testnet, ready to launch. But because of the current market is a little bit weak, we just want to hold and see, right? But
Okay.
despite that, right, we're already building the second phase. We're actually building the marketplace right now as we speak. We are starting to build the borrowing lending and the stablecoin.
Okay.
These are the couple of stuff, right, including the GameFi, right? I think all of this will be launched in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm
Okay.
very sure of that because we
Okay.
are the momentum of building right now. We are like damn fast right now because we know what we're doing. And of course, down the road, second half of the year, we're gonna do more launchpad partnerships. We're gonna do more partnerships with different kind of projects, and we want to be a reserve currency and across metaverse. And down the road, as you can see, right, Metapoly 2.0. What does it mean, right? We really want to be an ecosystem. If there's any project or any application who want to work with us, right, we're gonna give the grant to the developers and project. Hey, 50,000 USM for you. Take it to build. As long as you're building something that benefits to the community and Metapoly, you actually support the project, right? You're going to incubate the project. Right.
Okay.
So this is the team. Myself, Cindy, JenQ, and Chanel. We are like the core team. Of course, I never put in the tech team yet because we have 11 developers, technical people, and we have another 11 from marketing and community. Right. In total, we have like 22% team.
Okay.
And Jenny is the advisor, and Kishore is also an advisor to actually help us to introduce us to different people. Right. So summary: own the deed, rule the metaverse.
On the deed. I like the play on your D333D. That's
Yeah.
really a good play, man, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so awesome, man. Thanks for the short introduction in terms of what this means. Let's take some questions. So I think there's some questions that has been mentioned. So let's start from the top. So you kind of mentioned bridge, which is actually not a bridge; it's more a platform that's already been addressed. Um, so it's a structure for. Okay, so we have a question over here. Is that why there's only 300 NFT land for minting now due to the liquidity concern? There won't be any more additional NFT land for launch in near future. So I understand that you guys have a NFT play as well. So obviously you have gone through the token aspect, the DeFi aspect to it for the matter. So I think there is an introduction of the NFT play, and maybe you can clarify a bit more. I'll leave the question up for you to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Cindy, you want to take it? No, just let you
Yeah,
explain.
for sure. Okay, so I guess someone in the chat already helped us to address that, but I guess for the benefit of everyone, I'll introduce the NFT component once again. Okay, so yeah, so basically, right, so we are doing this NFT sale actually to serve a purpose of initial Discord offering. So because like Victor mentioned, right, we are actually not a land project per se, so we are not selling any lands, right?
Okay.
So we are more of like an instructor for metaverse, like multiverse. But the 300 NFT is actually more of like a Genesis NFT in the whole Metapoly world. What do I mean by that, right? So I think instead of like the token sale, like the usual ideal token sale, right? We take it to another level to sell as NFT. I think some of the projects are starting to take on this trend as well, right? So we have 300 exclusively designed NFT for this purpose. So basically, what the minter will get is they will get our token airdrop to the wallet that mint the NFT. So it's kind of like a reward for the early supporters in our community. Yeah. So basically, it's not selling a land, so it's selling an exclusive membership, if you think that way.
So would you agree with this statement that Gen Zen has mentioned, like NFT is not land, is an NFT that gives you PD, right? Redeemable for deed over time. Is this what is this considered a fact?
Correct. So let me elaborate a bit more, right? So actually our model is kind of Olympus DAO model upgrade. So basically the foundation is kind of same, right? So meaning that our token, deed token, is not actually we cannot pre-mint any deed token. That's why we use this options token, which we call PD, to incentivize all the team as well as the investors as well as the initial Discord offering. So that's why they will be airdrop the PD token instead of deed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I guess you mentioned when somebody answered the question, I guess Lauren, one of your community members have kind of answered this. So just to help everyone understand a bit more, the IDO launch is not your DEX offering, right? It's a Discord offering that you're talking about, right?
Yes, that's the Discord offering. Yeah. So that's that's an NFT sale. Yeah.
Vic, I mean, you are definitely playing a lot of pun on the words, man. Knowing you, this is so typical of you. Okay, cool. It confuses sometimes a lot of people, but anyway, it's great to know that there's a difference for your project. That IDO does not stand for initial DEX offering, but your Discord offering. So the first 300 Genesis NFT is for that purpose, for people who join the Discord and people who are interested in getting the whitelist itself. Right. Could you maybe mention a little bit more in terms of like the NFTs will be dropped to 2,500 PED tokens for that? Yeah, since this is here. Yeah.
So
sure. Hey, Victor, you want to take it?
I want to explain two parts first, right? You're right. There's actually two play to it: initial Discord offering IDO and initial DEX offering, right? So recently, for all the NFTs, right, they have been talking about initial Discord offering. Of course, there's initial DEX offering, but for NFTs, right, generally they are launching on initial Discord offering. But it doesn't mean that we are not doing launch pads. What do I mean by that? You see, remember just now what Cindy was mentioning about, right? That the token is not pre-minted. We cannot pre-mint the token. Whether if I want, I cannot even pre-mint it. The only way for me to get the token, right, to sell at the launch pad is I have to put in the money into the contract to mint the token. That's how crazy it is now.
I mean, that is the smart contract that we talked about 1.5 years ago. We had our coffee session. Vic, you explained the DeFi concept to people, right? So this is coming to fruition. Like you are, already practicing what you're preaching, basically, right? For after that 1.5 years, you're bringing this project to show people that this is how it works on a smart contract basis, right? It's definitely decentralized because there's no control over putting in the liquidity as a result to generate your PD tokens, right? So maybe you can continue with that.
So for us to actually do the IDO, the initial DEX offering, we're actually talking to a couple of launch pads as well, right? We are talking to the few one. Nothing confirmed yet, but we are talking to Engine Starter, we are talking to the GameFi, we are talking to a few. In fact, that different countries have different kind of launch pad. We are talking to them as well. And how do we set the token, right? Very simple. I have to put in the money that we raised from the private sale, the pre-sale, to the contract, and so forth to get a token. And then we use the token to sell it to the launch pad. So the launch pad people will buy, right? Not even a discount because it's $1, right? When you buy, I'm going to list at $1.10, right? For example. So that more people are able to buy upfront. So essentially, that is what the IDO initial Discord offering and initial DEX offering that we are looking for. Stay tuned. We're gonna have more. Follow us on Discord and follow us on Twitter. Right, you will see that a lot of announcement being made, regularly once we have confirmation.
Cool.
In terms of continuing, I think some of the questions that we have seen in the chat, right, I think a lot of good questions. So Golden Ape, like, okay, so what do I mean by ape, right? We are actually doing partnership with Ape Gang. Cindy can actually explain on that on the partnerships, right, and marketing, because she's really leading that every day, right, on the
Yeah.
partnerships and Discord. Cindy could explain on that.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'll chip in to talk a little bit more about the collaboration that we did with Again NFT. I think we just did the campaign last week. Overall, the reception is very good. So what happened is that remember just now we were talking about 300 Genesis NFT, right? So we actually have collaborated with Again NFT to have a limited edition Ape-Gan version NFT in among this 300 Genesis. Yeah, so it's kind of like very rare, and the quantity is only about 30. Yeah, so it's like 10%, right? But actually, like, I think the reason why we do this kind of collaboration is really we value the community a lot. That's why also before we even launch, right, we are building community and doing a lot of partnership with different projects to bring in more real user, right? So we absolutely believe that this is very crucial for us to succeed, right? I mean, we can easily buy, bounty hunter or airdrop, but that's not the user that we want. And also, I guess, this is really also the reason that we are doing like AMA, after AMA, like every week, right? So yeah, so we really want to, leverage on different kind of community to grow the Metapoly. So basically, I think the reception has been very good. People are getting very hyped about this NFT. Yeah. So but again, the NFT Genesis NFT, right? Actually, apart from the serving of the ideal purpose, actually because it's very rare, right? Only 300. So meaning, right, it will be forever, like the Genesis in our Metapoly system. So like Victor mentioned, we are going to have GameFi, we are going to have different NFT component down the road, right? So the Genesis holder are actually, have all the privilege for the upcoming drops. Yeah. So I think, hopefully you guys will get one whitelist.
Awesome, man. So we have some more questions. So I think Vic, this is the first time, and obviously, you're establishing and trying to get, a few of the verticals of what cryptocurrencies has been doing. Like having the NFTs, having the DeFi space, having your launchpads, everything coming on to one. So there is a level of complexity to this itself, and I can see that there's a lot of questions. For the first time, I'm seeing a lot of questions being bombarded. So I guess let's pay more attention to the community in terms of giving some more answers on this. So I guess when people talk about let's try to address this, right? So will the PD deed have any initial liquidity, or will it be stick to receive deed that will have an LP? I think this is chicken and egg situation, right? This like Victor, you mentioned earlier, right? We cannot control, we cannot put in, or you cannot control that aspect. You need to bring people to come in for that, and that's what the partnerships are meant for in the first place. And so I think the assurance is to let people know that your smart contract is not going to be quote unquote manipulated by the team itself. It's by third party, having the liquidity providers coming in to interact with your smart contract so that you can actually issue that thing. So I'm trying to explain it. I'm not the best actually, so I'm leaving it to the experts. So let me know if I explain it correctly. Yeah.
I think I'm going to do more visual next time. But anyway,
Yeah.
along the way, right, we can have more component. But explain it to the voice, right, from my hands. So, as I mentioned, right, remember on the middle, right, we actually have the treasury.
Yeah.
And the token could only minted from the smart contract based on the amount of money we have in the treasury. So the treasury, let's say for example, is have 1 million, right? Then we can mint up to 1 million, right? That's how we actually started with that. So that is the treasury. Then a token deed, right, can only be minted when there's money in the treasury, right? So that's number one.
Correct.
And number two, so how does the treasury collects money, right? There's actually four different market. There are four different type of category of the money that we can receive. One is the Metaverse land NFT itself. For
Yeah.
example, right, Decentralized Sandbox, if they want to sell to us, they can. Then we give them the token, right? The second one is actually the platform tokens, right, which is the Mana and Sand token. We are going to take their token as well.
Yeah.
The third one is actually the stable coins, USDC, USM, ETH. Those are the coins we are take. And number four, right, is our own liquidity. So with our own liquidity, right, people can you be rest assured that there's no one to be rug pull, right? Because the treasury owns the liquidity, so
Correct.
you can buy and sell against the treasury, right? That's about it. So and of course, when there's buying and selling, what will happen? There's trading fees, right? The treasury also makes money on its own. And it's actually a lot of money. To give you an example of that benchmark, right? The genesis of this idea comes from Olympus DAO.
Yes.
Olympus DAO, the token is called OM. I'm
Yep.
not sure anybody know. Last month, Olympus DAO make 50 million in trading fees. Yep. Yeah, people say the token price is dire, but the treasury make 50 million. That's how crazy it is in 1 month. And of course, we'll continue to grow, right? Because it just started. So, but anyway, that is a different model, but we are using the same concept. Okay.
So you're giving the opportunity for people to participate in the treasury as the early adopters
Yes.
for this, right? Yes.
Which is
Okay,
why
cool.
more people buy earlier, right? Yeah, you get the early adopters to have the most compound of like the interest and the staking, right? But along the way, when there's too much liquidity and too much people, right, the interest rate will go down. Is for
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
Right? In the
As per
beginning.
all DeFi protocols. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, to answer what Civil NFT was talking about, will the PD have initial liquidity? So PD is just an option token. It's non-tradable. We purposely make it whitelisted. It's a ERC20 token, but it's whitelisted only. So if you can transfer wallet, but will never work. Why do I say so? I don't want people to go and trade the option because we are not not an option platform, right? The option is just for you to sell back to the smart contract so you can convert to get back the deed token. The deed token is the one that's valuable, right? So we want to do that. So the PD doesn't have initial liquidity. When the user want to convert it, then they actually need to, including the team as well, right? There's a vesting period. But when we take the token after we vested, right, we can actually convert it. And to convert it, right, just to let you know, it's an option. We still need to pay one.
You have to choose.
For free one.
Yeah.
Right? When we pay, we'll get it out. But if you don't pay, you're just holding the option. It doesn't mean anything. So when we convert it to deed, we pay, and then every deed is going to be back. Then what happens is the deed token is the one we're talking about. You can use the deed token, you stake it, or you can sell it, or when you stake it, you get more US dollar. If you want to get the stable coin, you burn it. So a lot of variety of different use case for the deed token.
So I guess you answered this guy's question. Gen Zen, thank you for answering this question. Will you be able to redeem the deed token over time? Depending on growth liquidity within protocol. I think that's the exercising of the option that Victor has mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
So maybe let's confirm the initial thing that you're talking about. Your first Genesis 300 tokens. Just for transparency purposes, this is the amount that people are asking that you be whitelisting for in the first place. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. I hope that answers the question, Civil NFT. And so let's move on. Okay.
I want to address Golden Ape ETH first, right? He asked the question. Burn the NFT for token exchange. No, not really. The NFT is for you. It's for you. You bought the NFT for you, but we will airdrop you the token for that, right? So
right.
You don't even need
it's only for the purpose of the whitelist, in other words, because you need to whitelist your address.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. On that note, those who have their MetaMask wallets, do remember to put in and write and keep mark down your private keys, basically. So if you get whitelisted and you lost your private key, you want to get back to this. There's no way I think anyone can help you with regards to this, not even a team as well. You can't even give you a new wallet for that matter, right? So so let's not contribute to that matter. Everyone remember, when you deal with your wallets, always get your private keys written down somewhere so that you can reconnect back to any of the smart contracts that's on the Web3 that's being used. So this is just a friendly educational warning to everyone who's dabbling into crypto space. Yeah, yeah. It happened to me yeah, recently. Just let you know first because I opened my wallet in 2015, 2016. Yeah, so that's not a good testimony. But anyway, let's hope that everyone practices the good practice. Yes, so let's take a look at any more questions. Let's see, Meta team. Yes, thank you, Gen Zen, for this is a bit of encouragement to the Metapoly team. If you guys are watching this, your community is standing behind you. With who's giving you a quick. I guess Victor is a personal friend of yours, probably. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me see now. Are there any more questions? I assume the transactions.
Yes, actually, to answer civil NFT question, yes.
Yes.
All the
So
transaction that we own it, right? What will happen
mm,
is that all those trading fees, right, is on the treasury. We cannot even remove it. It's not belongs
mm,
to me, and I don't own it.
mm,
So, and that will actually back the token itself because it's right? It's growing. Then when the token price goes, treasury is growing, so it's equal. Um, so that alone, right, is actually what we are trying to do. Let's talk a little bit more back to the key ingredient, right? Why this is game changing.
mm,
Not only on the token use cases, right? We actually aspire to be the one of the biggest land bank for metaverse in the
right.
future.
Yeah.
So imagine that if you're a land bank, literally will become like the BlackRock and the Temasek, right? That we
Yeah.
actually control how money flow.
Virtually. Yeah.
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 But on metaverse, there's actually
So
two outcomes. There's a two
mm,
outcomes. One outcome is if you don't do it and decentralize it, and if we didn't do it right and we don't decentralize it right, it's actually bad for us because the community will leave, right? Because dude, man, you are like a DAO, you want to do decentralized, but you guys own it, right?
correct.
It's going to be
Correct.
bad for us.
Yeah.
So for us, right, it's actually in our best interest. We actually want to decentralize it. Two
Mm, mm,
reasons. One, we don't fall into any wrong law because we decentralize it, right? So that's
yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And number two, right? When we have that much of leverage, right, as a community, what will happen? Imagine that you
People will
have so
come
much
to you.
liquidity.
Yeah.
People come to us,
Yeah.
right?
They
Then
will
the
say,
land
can you please
then
help? Yeah.
we get all the exclusive first rights.
Yeah.
So the
Correct.
community and the DAO owners, right, will be like, oh shit, man, people want to come and work with us. The other way
So
around.
can I assume that the 300 NFT holders will automatically qualify for the DAO specifically? Will there be other opportunities for people to participate in a DAO other than the NFTs?
Yes, of course. This just
Mm,
the for reward the early followers, right? But along the
okay.
way, we're gonna have different kind of faction. You see the game fight, right? When
Mm.
you actually we actually have different level of faction. The different level of faction is that we're gonna create some rarity faction of the NFTs, right? So if you own that,
Ah,
you also can be one of those guys, right?
okay,
Um,
cool. Cool. So the rarity aspect will also give additional benefits and value back to the NFT holders, which may give more DAO tokens as a result. Lah. Am
yep,
I correct to assume that?
yep.
Ah, okay, cool. Awesome. I mean, this is Vic, I mean, 1.5 years ago when you shared this with me, we were going from, having a lot of multiple discussions. I think we've gone quite a long way, actually. I was very pleasantly reminded on Facebook itself, you know how they have memories, right?
Yeah.
One of our sessions, and and there you go. And it's like, today is the day. It's almost like 1 year ago that we talked about this. I'm very happy that you managed to reach this stage of showing people that there's this opportunity for this. So a lot of learning, guys. In the space, and I think Vic and his team has presented quite a number of things to you guys and given you the opportunity as well. There are more questions. Let's just take a look. This is really a first time for me. That's because of the DeFi side, right? So it's a monster by itself. Gen Zen, you were asking, will we be able to stake PD? So I guess the staking aspect, we not talked about it. Is there any staking mechanism in the product itself?
Good question, Jensen. Let me ask this to our developers, right, and see whether we can do staking. Then you
Okay,
don't need to convert it. You stake it, you get the US, what do you call that? The stable
even
coins.
better. Yeah, automate everything.
Really?
Yeah,
It's actually a
awesome.
good one. I'll ask my
Yeah.
developers, see whether we can do it. Then people don't need to
Thanks.
convert. If they do it
Yeah.
convert, they still make money. Fine.
Thanks,
Right?
thanks, Jensen. I think this is awesome that you are able to ask a good question on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you can let us know, which stage is Metapoly at this point in time. I mean, obviously the project have had some tenure. I know you probably started in late Q4 last year, basically, but where are you guys with the roadmap? What you have done. You've really shown us like 1 year in terms of the roadmap, right? And you kind of push back the token launch and things like that. But you're pushing and blazing ahead with the NFTs and the DAO token itself. So, any questions on that? Yeah.
I mean, the current two parts, right? The current status is that we have a strong team. I even don't even doubt that, right?
Mm,
We are not the fastest, but we are very strong because the
mm,
way we build, right? We are very careful. So
mm,
the test net for the token and some of these components of bonding and staking, right, is already there. But we are actually making some adjustment to tweak to any of the stable coin, right? And that one will
mm.
be something that we need to build. So the stable
Okay.
coin, the borrowing lending, the marketplace is actually in the process of development now. I mean, of
Mm,
course, it takes time, right? It
mm.
will take maybe like 3 months. I think the borrowing lending and stable coin will be able to complete in 2 months
Okay.
because we're halfway already.
Okay.
As for the marketplace is new, maybe we need 2 to 3 months. So
Okay.
thank God for the bear market so that we can focus on building.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also one of the better things. We are on several projects and things like. Can I confirm that this is the official website? Cindy, this is what you have sent to me. So everyone, if for those who are interested in finding out more information, please go to https double slash metapoly.org. Please note that there's always a lot of scams, so please make sure that you're getting this officially from the website itself. Do not click on suspicious links or phishing websites. There will be scams. To me, right, the measure of a project is when a scam tries to scam the project. That's the legitimacy of the project. So that only shows how powerful and how popular the project is, basically. So the more scams actually that's trying to target any project, right? Actually, that means the project is garnering a lot of traction, in my opinion. If the project has no scams, right, the project is unknown. So it's a little bit of a measurement tool that I do, on the back end as well. So hopefully that helps, the viewers and that they are looking out for some projects. You can actually see, but please be savvy. In terms of not being not going to the wrong sites and things like that. So yeah, cool. Uh, well, a bit of a joke here. A bit of joke. I'm sure Jensen, you're joking here. Cindy, yeah, she kind of dogs you over here basically, but it's her having a bit of fun, right? Yeah. So okay, cool. The links and all, yes. So whitelist itself, yes. How do we get whitelisted on your on for the project? Assuming that we have to be on Discord, right? Because it's an initial Discord offering that you guys are doing. When would be the date that's going to be official? Cindy, you want to answer this question?
Okay.
Cindy,
Yeah, so for the 300 Genesis NFT, right? So actually, we have closed the submission. So basically, we have a few left, but we only reserve for the partnership projects, and like DeFi Singapore, we reserve some for the community. Yeah,
Thank you.
because I
Yeah.
mean the seats are very limited lah. Yeah, but the thing is, we have opened the phase 2, which meaning so basically how it goes is the minting will happen in 2 phases. So the phase 1, right, is actually open for the first 300 whitelist.
Okay.
Meaning those first 300 whitelists can go and mint in 24 hours. Yeah, so
Okay.
we kind of also like put in a period of time so that everyone do not need to rush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the first 24 hours pass, if there's still remaining, because there's always like drop off, right? So that's when the phase 2 whitelists are able to meet. So the phase 2 whitelist, meaning it's not guaranteed slots, but people can start to fill in the whitelist already on our Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the second one, this is just for the first one, right? So the second
Yes.
one, is when again?
It will be 24 hours after the first phase.
Right.
But the
Okay.
but the minting date it's still TBD.
Okay. And the quantity is subjected, right? Because you're already oversubscribed, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But just follow us. We're gonna have more. Never know, right? We wanted to encourage more people to do so. You might want to do some sort of other NFT, but it's not Genesis, but some sort of different stuff. But follow us, right? We have to see how it goes. We take all these suggestions from the community, so we never know. We want to focus more on the community this time.
Cool.
I want to answer one
Yeah.
question from
Yeah.
EH Lim. Please explain
Ish.
how Metapoly build up land bank.
You
Okay,
explained it earlier, what? That's why I take that question up. So okay,
so
let's re.
so people understand like
Yeah.
what do you mean by land bank? So very simple,
Okay.
right? There
Cool.
are two ways to build a land bank. There are two ways, right? The first way is we build like a REIT trust fund, just like REIT in Singapore, right? A lot of people set up a fund, they can buy the land. So those are the traditional way of doing the fund. We are taking the innovative approach. We are actually opening a bond treasury that people could sell the land to us in exchange for a discounted um, token price. That
Okay.
is essentially what we do. So people could actually sell us their land. They might not, they might, maybe no, you never know. But we are also taking in the Mana and Sand token. We are taking in the USDT, USDC, and ETH token for the reason. When we collect the
Okay.
money, right, what we will do? We buy the lands. So when we buy the land, we will use the money that we collected to buy the land. Oh. So instead of we go and raise money from private sale investor, as what everyone is doing now, and then they go and invest into other project, we do it the other way around. We give them a token in exchange for the liquidity, and we use the liquidity to acquire more lands so that we actually decentralize it even faster. The first part, right, is very, very will centric. Yeah. Only
Yeah.
people can afford, they can put in the money, right? So,
Correct. Yeah,
yeah.
I like that about this, and that actually begets my next question actually. Are you just going to focus on just Decentraland and Sandbox, or will you be looking at other partnerships? For example, like back then in 1.5 years ago, we were looking at Sonium Space, Decentraland. We, I know it was like a big discovery for us. We were like, oh wow, like among a few of us, basically, and we are like, oh gosh, this is amazing, right? And true enough, this the potential of these metaverses have created lands that's so valuable, that's gone up in value for a period of time. And I think there's also some form of insulation from the bear market. Why? Because the lands in a way are assets, right? Regardless of how much you buy it at, right? Basically, right, there will be an upside when the bull market comes again for the meta. And I think that's something that I want to point this out. That if people don't see this, it's actually interesting that it's applicable to real world assets in the first place, for that matter. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not helping Victor the Shield here, guys. I'm just taking the information and the facts that comes with on our end, to actually explain this to you guys, that there is an upside, and of course there are risks involved as well. So yeah, so could you also explain, because you were mentioning in your Discord, I think one of the questions that was raised from my community was, you take a lot of reference point from which is Olympus, and Hack as well, HTC, right? I don't want to confuse people with the rebase token, but as much as how you have evolved from that, which means obviously they were the pioneers, they were experimenting on that as a project. What were your learning points to bring to your project, which they have failed and you are going to do better? Yeah.
Yeah. We actually learn from all of it, from my experience on
For
running a
sure,
DeFi
bro. For
startup
sure.
and so many stuff. Which is why we are not going to repeat the same mistake. Okay. Olympus DAO model, right? The treasury owned liquidity is actually the way to go, because every token is back. So I cannot mint any token and sell to you at like a random price. I can't, right? So it's actually backed by the treasury. But of course, the token price will fluctuate. That I can't control because it's the market, right? But it's backed by the money we put in the treasury. It's written on the code. They can't even change it. So that's number one. But the problem with Ohm and Hack and Wonderland, right, is actually their massive inflation of the rebasing token. That is the problem.
Yes.
What
Correct.
happened is they give you more Ohm, they give you more time, they give you more Hack. What happened to those tokens when you got more in the circulation? To sell. And the more they
Mm,
sell, the more price drop and everyone FUD. So
yeah.
what do we do? Because we want to be the dominant currency in the metaverse anyway, not just
Mm,
owning the assets, right? We are not like just
yes.
want to be a bank. We want to issue the currency itself on the metaverse. And the
Mm,
currency is backed by the land, right? So it's asset backed. What happened is when the deed token is being minted, right? There are few ways they can do with the deed token. One, if they stick it, then they get the USM stablecoin
yes.
from the staking API.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that you take the token, stick it there, then you get stablecoin? It's
Mm,
crazy, man. You're putting there, not you are getting some token, right? You're getting some real stablecoin that you can exchange with other stablecoin. You can buy stuff, right? So you're putting there, you get money, right? As long as the protocol continue to grow, you will continue to make money. That's number one.
yes.
Number
Yeah.
two, number two, right? How that this is going to different from the OM, right? Is that every USM stablecoin that is minted needs to burn the D token. So, for
Mm,
example, if you want to have $1 million worth of stablecoin in the market to do stuff, new farming, borrowing, lending, use an ecosystem, buy NFTs, when you use all this USM stablecoin to buy, people need to burn the deed. So, as you know, right, if there's 1 million come out, there's 1 million going to burn. So
mm,
it's always not enough. And
yeah.
because it's not enough, the price goes up, then people will sell more asset to us. Then we
Mm,
will grow our treasury too. That is
yeah.
the game theory, right? So, okay,
Yeah.
that is how the model works. What other stuff that we improve on, right? We are not only
Mm,
taking the liquidity for that, we are taking the land as well. So what do
mm,
we mean by that, right? People can actually sell us land. So to
mm,
answer Leslie's question just now, are we going to take other lands as well, like Somium land,
yeah.
Blocktopia?
Yeah.
We spoke to all of them. We already
Mm.
spoke to Blocktopia, we spoke to Somium, we speak to Illuvium. Uh, I think we
Will
have
you
not.
be speaking? Yeah, you haven't spoken to like projects that's up and coming, right? Because the
Yep.
lands are not available. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a potential partnership play that Cindy would be looking at as well.
Yep.
On that note, I'm going to slide in, my own project basically, right? So, bias a bit, right? Yeah. So, yeah, just a shout out to Dreams Quest itself. We are having our NFT lands that's coming up soon itself on our own game itself. So I'm definitely interested in having some form of partnership on that. Yeah, so I had to slide it in. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, but this is like our own, rubbing our shoulders and being in the right space for the matter. And I love the fact that we are decentralized. You guys are decentralized for the matter. It really gives the power to the world, whoever that's involved in the DAO itself. We do have a question on the DAO itself because they were asking like after buying the land, how do you actually deal with what you do with the land parcels? It's primarily, I think, PH Lim, if you are not familiar with the DAO practices itself, this is what Victor. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm making an assumption here that Victor is allowing the DAO token holders to do a consensus for this matter itself, and it
Yep.
will be on their page itself. So if you're
Yep.
not familiar with DAOs, you probably need to go and look at some of the DAOs that's already available that people are actually voting. Now that also begins another can of worms, Victor. People don't vote on DAOs. There's only like maybe 20% of the DAO holders that's actually voting for the matter. Is that how are you going to encourage these DAO holders? Like the engagement, right? How are you going to incentivize them to come and make a proper decision, like hey, we are going to maybe buy another this is the proposal that Cindy has worked very hard for, bring this to the DAO and say, hey, we're going to bring this project, we're entitled to purchase maybe 50 of this DAO 50 of these lands, for example, right? How will you incentivize your DAO holders, for them to make a decision or voting for the matter?
Ultimately, right? I mean, we can't force people like, hey, we only can encourage, right? Incentivize. We cannot
Mm,
penalize people
mm,
because you're part of the DAO. So
mm,
what happened is this, right?
mm,
We are using those similar model as snapshot, similar with the community to do so. But I
mm,
think we have to break into a spectrum, right? there's always a lot of minuscule decision, right? Like let's say, hey, can we talk to this partnership and stuff? I don't think that you need a DAO for the reason, right? I mean, people can do, and like the community
Oh, for
manager
sure.
or
Yeah.
team will do. But when it comes to, let's say, for example, hey, let's decide on the interest rate for the stablecoin, how
Ah,
much to give out. That you need a DAO to make decision, right? Because it's going
okay.
to impact the interest. To do that, I think there's like a couple of levels we are actually putting.
Mm.
One, we are copying the good model again. You see, we are using the VE model, whereby the more you
Ah,
longer you stake, yeah, stake longer.
yeah.
Lah. You stake longer, then you
Mm.
get more power. Lor. That's number one.
Yeah. Mm.
And but some people also complain, oh, then all the whales will win, right? Because they have so much money to stake. What
Yeah.
we do, the second one, that is why we have the game 5 with NFTs. Remember just now we are talking about using the
Right.
big. I mean, if you have those kind of rare NFTs, then your level power is like 99, for example, right? And you have power 99, then your power also similar or equivalent that people who are sticking long. So
Yeah.
by having one NFT, right, you're having the same power as them just because you hold the NFT. And what will happen to the NFT? The NFT is going to be very valuable because you hold the same power, right? Then people are like,
Yeah.
shit, this one people could bid higher,
So,
then it's
so
up to
I
you.
think, yeah. So the confusion for me, right, at this point of time, if you're saying that NFT has a certain amount of DAO power, right, then your DAO token itself, how does it? I think this is a balance, lah, right? Obviously,
Of
you
course,
will
right, you need to
constantly tweak
earn.
this
Yeah.
every maybe quarter, every half a year. You probably need to balance this aspect on these two as
We
specifics.
don't have a final answer yet, but we
Yeah.
know that it's something that is doable. How do we do
Mm,
so?
mm, mm,
You
mm,
can I take your D token, right? Stick it there. Then
mm,
you
mm,
calculate, right? If I stick 10,000 D token, right, I'm the number one whale. But there's one guy, right? He says that hey, I have the NFT, the NFT power
mm,
could be the same as you, but I'm gonna
mm,
sell for 1,000. What will happen?
mm.
Technically speaking, right? People are like, I'm gonna buy it because I have the same power, the 10,000 sticking, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that value of the NFT increase, right? So what will happen is that the NFT could only be purchased with either ETH or DIP.
Mm.
DIP will have value, and if you use ETH to buy, you can also. Then you buy ETH, lor. Then the guy that holds the NFT, right? Wow, shit, man, they are holding like a premium ape. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
NFTs and
Cool.
the sticking model.
Yeah. Thanks, PH, for responding. I think he's just concerned about the slowing down of the
Oh,
entire process. Yeah.
I'll explain on this.
Yes.
Actually, in the beginning, right, that is why we don't want to like decentralize too much. Slow down. Yeah, you're right. Actually, we
Mm.
spoke to QCP from Singapore. They
Right.
are $7 billion fund. I
Yeah.
don't want to mention all these names, right, because it's not confirmed yet. But anyway, we spoke
Yeah.
to them, right, and they're very interested. So what
Okay.
happened is this, right? They are saying that you want to have some professionals in your DAO. Otherwise,
Mm.
right, you think about it, right? What is the reason why we want to sign up advisors and investors? You see, I mean, it's not about the money. Somebody I mentioned in the chat just now, right? Oh, it's only 150,000 only, right? It's really not about the money. People who have done project before, right, will know that all this is small money. The
Yeah.
most important thing is I want to find the right people who are actually be part of the DAO. Because
Correct.
why? There are certain people who want to look for long term. There are certain people who just want to flip. Flippers let them flip. We cannot do anything. But people
Yeah.
who hold it long term, right, they stay for long term.
Yeah.
So those guys will have the power to actually make an impact that benefits the DAO. Because
Mm.
why? They will benefit from it as well. It's an
Mm.
alignment of interest.
Yeah.
So the DAO members, I think for buying lands, right? Most probably, I think the community or the core team could make a quick decision. But I think we need to have a systematic way of calculating it. Somebody asked me, some of the VCs asked me, right, hey, how do you justify what are the quantum, what are the risks, what are the stuff? We have some sort of like internal benchmark that we're using. For example, it needs to actually be decentralized enough, at least to have 3 to 5,000 NFT holders for the land.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're only like 100, I mean, I have
Which
no
is why
idea.
you're doing, yeah, which is why you're doing in phases,
Yes.
balancing, along the way. If there's a need, then you will do. If there's no need, you won't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that also begets like, will the DAO be having a consensus of having more NFT holders as a result, in terms of decision making, or does that come from Metapoly's core team itself? Sorry, I have to ask this question, bro. Yeah.
No, no, it's okay. Can you repeat again because I was reading
Yeah.
the comment?
So obviously, when as a DAO holder, right, people will be asking you, how are you going to, or rather, when there's another batch of NFT holders that can come in, for whitelisting as well, because you're just going to do it in batches, right? The 300 is not good. It's just the first round. The Genesis guys is going to come in. Subsequently, it could be another round. Round one, round two, round three, right? Basically, who makes the decision on introducing that for the matter?
I
Is it
think
a
right
DAO
now,
or is it Metapoly's core team? Or
currently
you
it's
or you're
the
still or you're
currently it's
still
the core,
sorry,
currently it's the core team
core
that
team, yeah,
made the
for now
decision
lah,
for
till
now.
you transition to, okay, yeah, I think that's a fair answer. So yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, so I mean, everyone that joined us, I think, thank you guys for joining us. We've come to the end of the session. I mean, the time really goes very fast when we have fun, right, Vic? 1 hour is really insufficient when
Yeah,
it comes to
yeah,
DeFi.
yeah.
I just want to maybe lightly, maybe have a bit of a fun here. I saw something. Yeah, so Jen Zen was saying, as a vote, you can bribe him with Korean barbecue itself. Yeah, that's the provider if we know who you are, Jen Zen. Yeah, this is quite funny. So, DAO holders, can tend to have a certain amount of voting rights and things like that. So, this is to me, I think this is, we have evolved to a certain extent. Thank you, Victor, for even allowing this. It's been such a long time, like, since our first time on YouTube. Yeah, thank you, Cindy, for joining us as well. So, yeah, if you guys have any more questions with regards to this, I think you can reach out to them on their official channel. Their official channel is, let me try to find it. Yeah, there you go. Is at https double backslash metapoly.org. And so if you guys continue to come and join us on DeFi Singapore itself, on that note itself, for the educational side of things, introduction of new projects, helping you to understand more in terms of what the core team usually have their thoughts on. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us for tonight itself, and thank you, Victor and Cindy, for joining us and taking out your time to come and spare this EMA for that. Yes, so that's all I have for today. And I just we'll see you in the next time round. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
1 hour, damn long, man.
Yeah,
Wow,
准
quite
准
fast.
啊。